Hey guys, so we're going to go through the Untiming of Ben and Ruby part 4 because as I'm grading, I'm realizing this is where a lot of your grades start to drop off. Doing pretty well. Episode 4, not so much. And that's also around the same time that we stopped reading together. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through the story, we're going to go through the questions, and give you an opportunity to bring up your grade if you are not happy with it. If you can't go back into Achieve, then simply open up a blank Google Doc, number it 1 through 8, and put down your new answers to the questions. Label it part 4, so I know to go in and change your grade. Because we haven't had that same opportunity lately, and the point of this is to learn, not just to get a grade and be done with it forever. So, episode 4, here we go. This episode is called The Trouble with Limited Knowledge. Our dictionary words are bellow, which means to shout in a deep voice. So if somebody bellows, it's like blah, blah, blah. He bellowed. Bliss means complete happiness. So absolute bliss. Our questions. It's always best to read through questions before you start reading, even if you don't read through all the answers at first. Though it's honestly really good to do both. So, question 1. What is this episode mainly about? So, all 4 answers might have true information on what this episode's about, but one of them, since it's like mainly, one of them is going to be better than all the other answers. It's going to be better at saying, like, here's the main gist. Question 2. How does Ruby's conversation with Alexa during this episode change what happens in the story? All right? So, this means the story's going to be going one way with one plan on what's going to happen, and Ruby's going to have a conversation with Alexa. From that conversation, something is going to change. So it's our job to find out what changes from that conversation. All right. Question 3. Which is the closest antonym for the word bliss? Okay, so that one we don't even have to go back into the story for. Bliss is one of our vocabulary words. Okay, an antonym starts with, or almost starts with like anti. So remember anti, that means against, that means opposite. So antonyms are words that mean the opposite. Synonym, syn, are words that mean the same. So which one of these words means the opposite of bliss? Scroll back up. Bliss means complete happiness. So what's the opposite of complete happiness? Probably something along the lines of complete sadness. Let's see what our options are. So, enthusiasm. If you are enthusiastic, it means you are really excited. Agony. If you are in agony, it means you are not doing well. You are in emotional pain. Like complete agony. Having to, listen to me ramble. You might feel in agony, metaphorically, but I'm here to help you. Drama. A drama can be a play or just dramas, gossip, and stuff. Then we have haste. Haste means to go quickly, to hurry. So out of those, which one is the opposite of complete happiness? Put down your answer. Okay. Number 4. What is one inference the reader can make from this episode? All right. So remember that to infer or an inference is an educated guess based on evidence. Inference is an educated guess based on evidence. So that means the story, they're looking for something that the story doesn't directly tell us, but something that we can kind of make an educated guess about based on the information that we have. Okay? Educated guess based on evidence. So it can't just be any old guess. It has to make sense for the story. So if they say Ruby has, long red curly hair, that's literal information. That would not be an inference. Okay? Question 5. Look at the passage from this episode. So this passage. And then why did the author include this information? So we'll get to that when we get to it. Question 6. Look at this passage from the episode. What is the synonym for the word defy? So anti means opposite or against. So antonym is words that mean the opposite. Syn means the same, in sync, together. So synonyms are words that mean the same. So what word means the same as defy? Scroll back up and see if that is one of our words. It is not, which means we have to infer what defy means. All right. So if we look at this, because this is probably one that we can do without reading it. This is, okay, so, how dare you defy me, Alexa bellowed. And we know bellow means to yell. When I give you an order, you follow it. Didn't I tell you not to take anything? Listen, if we're going to continue to work together, you must, absolutely must, something. So, Alexa is yelling, how dare you defy me? Which means that she's angry. And she says, when I give you an order, you follow it. So, if Alexa was happy in saying, if I give you an order, you follow it, it would mean that that's what they're doing. But she is angry and saying, when I give you an order, you follow it. So apparently, that is what they are not doing. They are not following her orders, which is what we can guess defy means. So defy means not following orders, just based on the context clues. Alexa's angry and yelling. She's saying, you defy me, and then she's adding that extra information that you need to follow orders. So through that, we can infer or make an educated guess that defy means to not follow orders. So which one of these words means to not follow orders or to defy? Despise, destroy, discourage, disobey, right? So if you have a good inference, go ahead and put it down. Question 7. Based on the episode, which of these is true? Okay. So that's basic enough. Question 8. Look at the events below. Which of these happened after Alexa transported Ben and Ruby into the middle of the Civil War battle? Okay, so we have that transition word, after. So whenever we get to Ben and Ruby being sent to the middle of the Civil War battle, we'll have to see which one of those happens after. Okay, so we know what questions now we are looking for, and that gives us a purpose when we're reading, which usually helps us to do better. And it might be a little bit of time at the beginning, but overall, it's less time because you know what you're looking for while you're reading. So, Episode 4, The Trouble with Limited Knowledge. When we last saw Ben and Ruby, Ruby defied Alexa's orders and brought home some objects from prehistory and used them for their science fair project. Alexa made them return everything. I'm not going to deny it. I was totally miserable when Ben and I returned to the Hazka duck dinosaur objects to prehistory and kissed our science fair project goodbye. It was just as well, because I never could pronounce the creature's name anyhow. And I'm not exactly sure how Alexa did it, but she did it. The video of the hatching egg magically deleted itself from my cell phone, leaving me with dinosaur egg all over my face. Okay, now, by the way, so she's saying dinosaur egg all over her face. That is not literal. That is figurative. And it's actually the phrase to get egg all over your face is called an idiom, which means it's just like an old-fashioned saying that we've been using for a long time. So to have egg on your face is an idiom that means to be embarrassed or publicly embarrassed. So, oh, I have egg on my face. It means, yeah, I got caught, I'm embarrassed, whatever. So that's what she's saying happened to her from her project, essentially, was that she was embarrassed. What was I going to tell Mr. Ensidine, the Harvard paleontologist, everybody at Marshall Middle School, and the 2.6 million people who were following us on Twitter? That the dog ate my objects? Okay. So, paragraph 1, she's miserable. She doesn't have anything for the science fair project. They had to go return stuff. Paragraph 2, Alexa deleted the video. She's embarrassed, so now they literally have nothing for their project. Paragraph 3. But please, no pity for me. No, but please, no pity, not for me. At least I had that one shining moment of pure bliss or happiness when I saw the wild look in Eureka and Arno's eyes. They knew our science fair project was going to clobber theirs, no doubt about it. And they knew, I knew, they knew it. So she was happy for a minute when she was going to beat her rivals. And speaking of wild eyes, Ben's practically spun around and popped out of his head when I pointed to the Snickers wrapper in the bush near the cave. That makes a plastic water bottle and a candy wrapper, Ruby, he sputtered, as Alexa's pale blue light and orange shimmers whisked us away from prehistory forever. So, before they leave prehistory, they found 2 pieces of modern garbage. Is it still there? My apologies. I'm seeing where my buttons went. Ah, there it is. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so we're at 12 minutes. When we rematerialized, it wasn't in Ben's room like last time. This time, we were in some strange blue and orangey cloud, I guess you could call it, and Ben and I had blue and orangey outlines from head to toe. We must be in Alexa's virtual world, Ben whispered, just as a ginormous hologram of a fierce-looking librarian in black eyeglasses shot up from the misty ground, tall as a tree. Okay, so I remember this statement. When we rematerialized, it wasn't in Ben's room like last time. We were in some strange blue and orangey cloud. So, we're going to head over to the questions because I remember reading a sentence that started almost like that. Okay, it's not 1, it's not 2, it's not 3. Pretty sure I did. Maybe I did not. What is the episode mainly about? Oh, okay. So this was one of the options. And so is the episode mainly about, instead of returning to present day, they found themselves in a strange blue and orangey cloud. Okay, so we now know that happened, but is that what the episode is mainly about? So we'll see, because we're only really like halfway in. So that sounds like a pretty specific detail, so I don't know if that's what the episode's going to be mainly about. So they are now in Alexa's virtual world. So we start off bummed out. They lost their eggs. Alexa deleted their evidence. She was happy for a moment when she thought she was going to finally beat her rivals. Then now they found like 2 pieces of trash, and they're sent back to the virtual. They're sent back, but instead of Ben's home, it's now a virtual world, and they're about to talk to a tall-looking librarian, which I'm going to guess is going to be Alexa's avatar. So we are out of time for this program that I'm using, so this is part 1 of 2. And I know it takes time, but if you actually go through this, it's going to make answering future questions easier, because it's not just finding these answers, it's learning how to find answers for specific types of questions. So, see you in part 2. I hope this is helping.